Twins of Reddit. In what ways did you take advantage of having a twin? By Ask Reddit. Twice the clothes.
Oh yes. Also being able to choose two colors of the same clothes you like.
My grandmother was an identical twin. She and my great-aunt, who was functionally my second maternal grandmother, loved being dressed identically for all major life events. Every birthday, Christmas, they are in the photo as a matched set. Ironically, the older they got the less like each other they looked, so by the time I knew them they were quite easy to tell apart. But I loved seeing them in matching things. BTW, I highly advocate a dual maternal grandmother system. Double the holidays, places to visit, double presents, double hugs, double the number of people who feed you chocolate cake, the whole 9 yards. Big fan.
2 cakes on our birthday cake.
Or one big cake and loads of ice cream. Laughing smiley.
Count yourself lucky. I'm a waiter and on several occasions I've had parents either ask to have the cake taken out twice or have 2 sets of candles on either side of the cake. Once someone did a shared cake where half was like a princess castle and the other was a football pitch. I think that was probably more effort than getting 2 separate in fairness, so I'll let them off that one.
I'm not a twin but have identical twins. One year, one of them got tired during a shopping trip for school clothes. She said to her sister, "Try this on. I want to see how it looks on me."
Actually just did this wedding dress shopping. I was stuck between 2 and made my twin try one on while I had the other on. It was very helpful.
Ha ha ha, I love the image of this.
Saves time.
Not only time, compare them side by side. In fact, I think that's the main reason.
Now I'm so jealous. As a non-twin I have to just take pictures and compare to know what looks best. Sad smiley. I'd love to basically be able to have 2 outfits on at the same time.
My mom once told one of us to go pick out a coat, then she sent the other one to go get a coat. We picked the exact same coat. For Pete's sake. We kept track by pocket contents when that happened. Or stains. Edit, response to comment above: we actually did that with eyeglasses. Very annoying. Didn't help me.
It's a little freaky how similar your tastes can be. Even now that my kids are grown up and live apart, they still pick the same clothes occasionally.
My brother and I live 1,500 miles apart. A few years ago I went to visit him and we were both wearing the exact same brand new pair of sneakers. Same color, style, everything.
It happens even when you're not twins. One time when my brother and sister and I were still teenagers, we were getting ready to go out and we all left our rooms and met each other at the top of the stairs. We all saw that we were wearing the same thing, blue jeans, black t-shirt. We all kinda went and ran back into our rooms at once to change. It was like a scene out of a sitcom.
Did you change into same clothes again? Edit, thanks for the silver, kind stranger.
Yeah, I'm imagining this like 12 rounder of rock paper scissors where they just keep coming out in the same but different things.
Some say they're still changing clothes to this very day.
My sister and I do this. We're not twins, but we're close in age, 12.5 months, and look fairly similar. We've also reached several milestones at the same times. A short list: we both adopted black cats, without intention of adopting black cats. A week apart from each other we both had eye appointments and chose identically shaped glasses. Within days of each other we got engaged to our now spouses 8 days apart from each other, and our SOS did not communicate this with each other, and we started dating our spouses only about 2 months apart from each other. We lost our virginities on the same day. We usually have mood swings the same days, and we'll call each other in tears, not knowing the other was crying. 2 On top of all that, we live 1,000 miles apart from each other, and only see the other in person 2x/yearly, so there's another connection that isn't just spending time together.
Whoa, you kinda buried the lead on this one. You lost your virginities on the same day.
We did. We were still teenagers and sharing a room. I knew what my plans were for that day, and while I didn't tell her, I asked her if she could go to her boyfriend's house that day instead of having him over. Me and my BF did our thing, and when sister came home, she told me she had just lost her virginity. I was stunned.
I don't know if it's cause I'm a twin so my mind works this way, but maybe she knew what you had planned based on you asking her to leave, and that propelled her to go for it. Not saying that's what happened. And not every set of twins are uber competitive with one another that have to keep up in every facet of their lives, like my brother and I.
This is tangentially related and I want to tell the story because it is so sweet. I am very single and have been most of the time. I also feel like I've, understandably, grown apart from my parents due to age and distance. Sometimes I think myself that my parents barely know who the current me is. But one time my mum was out shopping and saw this wedding dress and sent me a picture captioned "This is so you." And I burst into tears immediately because she was spot on. She and I had never talked about dresses and my style, I had never pointed my style out to her, but she knew I would want a tea-length lacy cream wedding dress, with delicate lace on the sleeves. It was just so wild and unexpected to me, but it shouldn't have been. My parents do know me. They may not know my current hobbies or what TV show I'm watching, but they know who I am. Happy Smiley.
I need to befriend some twins. I need these hilarities in my life.
My sister and I still do this. If I really like a shirt, I'll grab two, especially on sale, and give her one, and we try on clothes for each other when one of us isn't feeling up to it. It's amazingly convenient.
My twin and I used to switch classes to take exams for each other in middle and high school. It was pretty fun, but we started to differ in looks as we got older, so it probably wouldn't work anymore, lol. Although, our voices still sound exactly the same, so we can often trick our parents on the phone and stuff like that. Also, not trying to say we have telepathy, but when you spend literally every waking second of your life together, we can always kind of know what each other is thinking. It's like we've developed our own language edit, typos.
I heard a story about two twin girls at my high school who tried that once and they almost got away with it, but the one taking the test for the other accidentally wrote her own name on it.
LOL, rookie mistake.
They would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling kids.
They'd probably gotten away with it already, and potentially so often that they became careless, hence the mistake. But one would then of course claim that it was the first time. I dated a twin. They used to F with me on the phone and the other would pretend to be my boyfriend. Their voices sounded exactly the same, so he would generally trick me for a few minutes. Got to the point where if I was on the phone with him and I knew his brother was there, I would ask something only he would know, so I know who I was talking to. In person it was very easy to tell them apart though.
When I was a kid, there were twin sisters in the neighborhood, Meg and Peg. Each would say how much they disliked their sister, and didn't like to hang around each other. Towards the end of the summer I asked their older brother where his sisters were. Sisters? I only have one sister, Margaret. She tricked me for an entire summer.
Meg and Peg should have been your first clue.
Oh, that's easy. Peg is short for Margaret.
Okay. This comment made my day. I laughed pretty hard. Thank you.
I knew twins in high school who had rhyming names, Gabby and Abby. It happens.
This is the same with me. One time my twin and I were scrolling through Reddit. We both found a meme that was funny and wanted to show each other. It turned out to be the same meme. Telekinesis, do you mean telepathy?
Oh haha, yeah, that.
Honestly thought you were making a joke about your twin bringing new stuff and just calling it telekinesis.
I can unlock his phone with facial recognition and send stupid messages to other people from it. Edit, We are 37 edit 2, wow, thanks for all the awards. Who knew being a jerk to your brother could pay off? Phone was a Pixel 4 and yes, Facebook confuses the two of us when it suggests that we may be in a photo. Edit 3, for all of you who asked, no, the fingerprint scan does not work.
Yeah, this is a flaw with the newest phone models can unlock my twin's phone with my face, but before that I wouldn't have been able with Touch ID. So is Touch ID better?
Touch ID is definitely better, however even more secure than that is the good old traditional password.
1 2 3 4 5. That's the same combination I have on my luggage.
Removed.
Fry. NA, you're alive in today's world. You've gotta be Lars. Edit. Thank you, kind stranger, for the award. Everyone else can bite my shiny metal ass.
My nephew looks enough like his dad that Facebook software labels the boys' pics with the dad's name each and every time.
I'm female and my son's face opened my iPhone until last year when he was 13.
It's nice to be able to pinpoint exactly when you've become a man.
I vaguely remember when people switched from thinking it was my mom to my dad answering the phone whenever I answered.
I was a late bloomer that grew up with 2 women in the house. It was a moment of victory when they finally stopped asking if it was my mom, then my sister, then me on the phone.
I have a twin brother but we never did a switcheroo or anything. It's probably much more mundane than people think. To me he's just my brother. One great thing though is I don't have to try to remember the names of random acquaintances because no one remembers which one I am.
I've never wanted to be a twin more. I forget names at the drop of a hat.
It's cool. But flip side is some people don't think of you as an individual, rather you're the twins, which gets old.
Yeah, I goofed one time on this. I ran into one of the twins at a restaurant once and said, "Hey Addy, where's Trevor?" and I just saw his face sink. This was in high school, so I didn't really put it together at the time, but I'm sure it can be pretty damn demeaning to be considered half of a pair all the time rather than just a person.
Hey Addy, where's Trevor? My brain read that with a Boston accent.
Trevor?
I understand the feeling. A popular storybook character was named after me. I was born first, and everywhere I go, everyone makes the same joke. Pre-COVID, I could even tell by the glimmer in their eyes if they were going to do it too.
Growing up, I heard Sabrina the Teenage Witch from every second person and their mom. I know this pain.
My name is Patrick. The SpongeBob jokes never end. Edit. My top comment is me doxing myself. Great.
My name is Alvin. The Chipmunks reference gets old really fast.
Ouch. How often do people scream your name trying to imitate Dave?
Very often actually, but usually by the younger people, but it feels nice when people scream my name.
Sad it's not for different reasons.
My middle name is Patrick. I thought about going by it once, but damn Pat from SNL.
I have a friend named Joey, and almost any time we're playing games together, I say, "Joey, did you eat my sandwich?" and he feels obligated to respond, so he says, "I am your sandwich."
You're a wizard, Harry.
My favorite take on this is some police procedural I saw where they started to suspected the guy was an imposter because he didn't recognize the obvious joke about his name.
Twin here. Can confirm, it's always where are the twins? Are the twins coming with? On more than one occasion when the waiter didn't bring enough silverware for the table, there's been jokes about how we're only one person.
Ha, as a twin, it's always awkward when someone you don't remember approaches you and just says your last name. You don't want to admit you don't remember them, so start fishing for details of who they are before admitting you're the other one. It got real awkward for me when I told someone like this they were thinking if my brother, and the guy looked at me deadpan. Dude, we went to high school together. POO. You caught me.
Had a female, black, co-worker that I had been working closely with on a project for a couple months think I was a racist piece of poo because I didn't talk with her at the grocery store. My brother was there and some lady he didn't know was staring him down hard, and he finally said, "What do you want?" She started yelling at him in the store, saying stuff like, "I see how it is, only good enough to talk to at work," and it went downhill from there. He noped out of the situation as fast as he could. The next day I said hi as she walked by, and she called me an asshole. I hadn't done anything, I thought, to expect that reaction, so pinged my brother to see if he happened to talk to anybody the day before. He explained what happened at the grocery store, and I went down and talked to the lady. I had to bring up multiple pictures, with the two of us standing together for her to believe I didn't just Photoshop a couple pics. She finally came around and thought it was funny.
Hi fellow twin. I was also mistaken for my twin. Her manager saw me outside their place of work, professional, finance thing, wearing shorts, flip-flops and tank top with huge backpack on. I was heading back to school. And I didn't notice guy staring at me, and didn't acknowledge / say hi. He went to her and was surprised to see her back in her regular polished self, business suit, heels, makeup. Until she explained she has a twin.
I had a coworker with a twin that didn't work at the same job. Coworker's twin came in and the manager yelled at him for being out of uniform. It was hilarious. Weirdly, I ended up working with the other twin at a different job years later.
It's not the which one BS that pisses me off so much as the people who don't even attempt to learn to tell the differences. I've had people tell me they won't learn to tell the difference, so I pretend I don't know them when they approach me. Not sure that's actual justice, but it makes me happy.
It is easy to tell as long as you get to know them. Twins may look identical but they don't behave the same way. There are triplets at my school and you can easily tell which is which just by how they act and walk.
Can confirm, I am a twin, and I have never had trouble telling us apart.
I know of a pair of twins, and when they were younger they developed their own way of speaking. Not with different words and phrases, but they meshed their words in such a way that they're difficult to understand. They have a sibling who's able to understand most of what they're saying, but is not fluent, so to speak. Around other people their words don't mesh, but around each other they revert back to their speech patterns.
I would love to hear this, as a fan of language.
My twin boys do it. They are only 5, so they may grow out of it. Me and the wife started with understanding it, but as it developed it became more unique and fluid. From the research I have done on it, it seems more related to a pidgin language they have created themselves. While it is amazing two people can independently create a unique pidgin, it's much more so in small communities. It seems shared connection and lack of knowledge is what does it. Humans yearn to identify and co-understand their world. If they do not have the words to describe or illiterate their world, they will create them. So long as the other user is also ignorant of a way to do so, they will adopt said word or phrases. It's pretty cool. Ninja edit, it's actually pigeon, not the bird. No excuse for mistake, just adding clarification.
Pigeon.
Yes, you are correct. My brain has work always. Thank you.
No, I like pigeon language better. Hilarious, imagining your twins cooing and screaming and spinning at each other. Maybe pecking the ground occasionally and charging at walls. This made me laugh.
My boys did this. They aren't twins but are less than a year apart. My youngest would only talk to his brother until he was 3. By the time they started school the original language was gone, but they are almost teens and I still can't understand them when they talk to each other.
My husband and his cousin are 6 months apart. When his cousin talks he mumbled occasionally, nothing crazy. Just have to ask him to repeat one word or something. But when he's just talking to my husband I can't understand a word he says. It's like everything he's saying is just one unending mushed up word with some laughter sprinkled in. My husband has zero trouble understanding him. I never thought about it this way, but I bet it's similar. They basically grew up as almost siblings and they seem to know what the other is thinking all of the time. No one will let them be on teams if we play charades or any similar games because it's like they can read each other's minds.
My brother and I talk to each other in a very mumbled and fragmented way that relies on unspoken things we both know or understand. Our wives can't follow our conversations, so we'll speak, then translate. We'll say something like, "So did Karajan?" "Yeah." And then one will turn to the wives and say, "So our dad's car broke down again and he's not coming?"
It's called digiglossia. Some children develop this, and if I recall correctly, it's more common between twins. None edit. Sorry, forgot to kill the mobile bit.
I'm told me and my brother also did this when we were very young.
My husband and his mirror image twin had their own twin talk too. They lost it by the time they started school though. They still do the whole knowing exactly what the other is talking about though. Whole conversations can be like the following: T1, you know that. T2, yeah, and that. T1, couldn't believe it. T2, do you? T1, definitely. T2, let's do that. Their mom and I joke that they can have whole conversations without a single noun.
Me and my husband talk like that a lot, or one of us will say something and the other normally responds with "get out of my head," which means they were thinking the exact same thing.
I grew up with a speech impediment and my sister was my translator. I would mash all my words together with no spaces and my parents would just stare at me. Then call my sister and have me repeat myself so she could interpret.
My twin sis and I had a language called Rocco Bondo growing up. I distinctly remember having full conversations with her long before I could talk to anyone else, but I don't remember a single word of it anymore.
It's called an idiolect. A friend of mine I've known for 8 years or so speaks with a very odd accent / dialect, sounds like bits of Welsh, Geordie and Glaswegian. I recently found out he has a twin brother and they spoke in twin speak to each other when they were kids. It went on for so long that it became part of their speaking voices like an accent. That's why he sounds a bit odd. Still, easier to understand than West Cumbrian.
My twin brother and I did this before / during when we learned how to speak. B was washing / cleaning and B was share. I don't remember any others.
My twin and I have twin talk too. It uses more normal speech than made-up words though. When we were younger, the made-up words usually originated from sounds we would imitate, like R2D2's beeps and boops, and we still do that sometimes. But nowadays, words mainly originate from book quotes we like or deliberately mispronouncing existing words because it's funny, like musy instead of music. That came from a typo I made.
Downside is some people fetishize it. I had my ex-boyfriend beg for a threesome with my twin, which was gross and weird. He offered to buy both of us $600 designer bracelets if we did it. Sharing birthday gifts can suck as well. Do you cry if she cries in another state? Do you ever forget which twin you are? I want to see y'all fight. If I stab her, will you feel her pain? Which is the smart twin and which one is the dumb twin? Advantage is always having someone to go somewhere with, whether it be a party, lunch, shopping, wherever.
I once got "Do you ever wake up and not remember which one you are?" Sure, every morning our brains reset and we have to decide who is who and sort through whose memories are whose.
My brother one time in a very public place was standing by me. When a person asked him, "Hey, are you two twins?" he turned to me and as loudly as he could, yelled, "Jesus, you look like me. What the hell?" and then ran away screaming. I was both amused and mortified.
My brother and I call it twinception. For whatever reason, people lose control of their mental faculties the second they are faced with two people who look similar. It's baffling.
People don't know how to deal with clones.
My wife is an identical twin, went on a trip with her and her twin, and one employee at a coffee shop asked if they were twins. I so wanted them to look at each other and pretend they just met, but of course not. My wife had to be boring.
Or my personal favorite, what if you were switched at birth and you were actually the other twin? I've still grown up as wise_writing my whole life, so I'm wise_writing. But what if you weren't? What if you were your brother? But I'm not.
None. He always ended the story smiling, saying, "And she was right. I'm not a James. I am definitely Joel."
I'm a triplet and one person asked me if I get a boner if my brother would get one too. Not sure why he thought I would want any kind of insight into my brother's boners, but it made us laugh.
When I started dating, I ran into this a lot. When people were like, "Tell me something cool about you," I just was like, "Oh, I have a twin." Everyone wanted to know who was bigger, and stuff like that, and I don't know and don't care. It's really creepy. My ex fetishized it, and I'm pretty sure he had a crush on my brother. When I told him how creepy his comments about threesomes and incest was, and tried to turn it around on him, saying, "How would you feel if I said stuff like that about you and your brother?" and he was like, "It's different." It's at a point I don't tell anyone I'm dating I have a twin until like a month or two in, because I just don't want to deal with it. The smart twin and dumb twin really caused a rift between my brother and I. At one point I was the nice one and he was the mean one, because he was more shy than I was and less talkative. The constant comparisons from everyone our entire lives caused us to constantly compete for everything. We're really close now, but we hated each other up through the first year of college.
Question, because I'm super curious. Are you and your brother both LGBT or have different sexual preferences? I know there have been studies demonstrating some linkage, but I'm always curious since gay twins are rare AF.
Haha, I'm gay and he's straight. I heard that if one twin is gay there is like a 70% chance the other one is, but I don't recall the source and if that's reliable. A lot of people assume that he's gay too. BC, we're twins but he's straight.
LOL, I remember seeing this tweet from a girl who complimented and asked out a guy she didn't know. The guy was like, "I'm really flattered, but I'm gay, but I have an identical twin who's straight, so I can give you his number if you want."
Honestly, this sounds less like a downside to being a twin, and more like a downside to having really putty friends or exes. I mean this in the kindest way I can mean this: get better people in your life.
In my high school there was an unusually high number of twins. As in, minimum 3 sets of twins per 90-person class. One class had 6 sets. A common prank was for twins to switch classes for a period or day. Most of the time the teachers caught them, they were very used to it, but there were 2 brothers that always got away with it. They were just too identical in looks, voice, and mannerisms. One of those guys had a crush on me, and to this day, I still don't know which one it was. LOL. All the twins got a special group photo in the yearbook every year, too. Edit. I'll address some common questions here. This was in poor, rural West Michigan. Very few folks in the whole county could afford IVF, so I don't think that's much of a factor. By 90-person class, I mean grade. Like 9th, 10th, 11th grade, etc. This was an average grade size for that high school, the biggest in the county. Again, rural Michigan. None.
My super small town school had an unusually high number of twins too. Probably close to the same ratio you said, just half or a third of the class size. We did some swapping around, but most of the teachers could typically tell pretty quickly, once they paid attention to it. We did the yearbook photos too. They always said captioning it was a nightmare.
You guys have some in weird your town's water.
Could be, or genetic selection. Could also be if a lot of couples are using IVF or something else. It actually could be an interesting study on areas with higher than normal multiple birth incidence.
I could be wrong, but I believe that IVF only increases the odds of fraternal twins, not identical ones.
Twins also tend to be genetic. Twins are more likely to have twins themselves. So if you get some twins living in a small area you might end up with more twin kids than average.
I have a twin brother. The advantage is always having someone to talk to. No matter how good or putty our days were, we're there for each other.
Yep, this. There was one time when I had my brother's ID so I could pick up a food order he'd paid for with his credit card over the phone, but they didn't even ask to see it when I got there. Editing to add that I can't wrap my brain around identical twins who end up living hundreds or thousands of miles apart. That's probably more of a me thing than a them thing, though. Editing again to add that I know I'm not representative of all identical twins. People can live their lives however they wish and whichever way they go. I'm just saying I'm glad to have someone close to me who's the exact same kind of weird as I am, lol.
When me and my sister are driving somewhere and she forgets her license, I tell her she can borrow mine if we get pulled over.
Heard a story from my boyfriend's family about his twin cousins. One twin is a great kid, respectful, and went off to join the military. The other twin is constantly in trouble with the law, has multiple DWIs, etc. When the good twin was in the military, the other twin used his driver license since his was revoked and managed to get in all sorts of trouble. Once good twin got back from the military, he had to choose between accepting and paying for all the damage his brother did to his license, or sue him for fraud. He had to sue him for fraud or be dishonorably discharged from the military because the dude got 2 DWIs and didn't show up to any court proceedings, which caused a warrant for the military brother's arrest. Fraud case went smoothly because he could prove he was deployed at the time. Brothers haven't spoken in 11 years, as of Christmas 2020. Asterisk story is the best of my recollection, and may not be exact.
So, good/evil twins are real.
LOL, I wouldn't be so willing. An identical twin told me she had accidentally grabbed her sister's purse /ID, got pulled over for speeding and used it, then had to go through a process of getting the speeding record /ticket off of her name and back onto her sister's.
Where do you even start with something like that? That's such a unique problem to have.
Modern problems require more modern problems.
Yeah, I'm a twin and my brother is established around 8HR Drive from our childhood.
I'm a twin. If you're reading this, twin brother, hi. Inside jokes. My twin brother and I have so many inside jokes even now at 30 years old. And the best part is our minds work alike, that we only have to say 1 or 2 words and the other one is busting up laughing. Our other brothers and each of our wives look at us like we're nuts, but most people don't get it. There's a connection there that normal siblings just can't have. He was my first roommate after all.
Would you say he used to be your roommate?
2 snare drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff.
The snake was late because of a hangover.
Silence, still silence, sun engulfs Mercury, Pluto becomes a green screen.
My dad is friends with identical twins and he told me this funny story. He was with them at an open house for their aero club. My dad and the 2 twins are all pilots and were supporting the event. Someone was really curious and asked the twins if there was any truth to the stories about twin telepathy, where twins have some sort of psychic connection. They were both quiet for a few moments and it started to get uncomfortable. The man looked a little embarrassed and said something along the lines that he was just curious and it was a silly question. One of the twins looked him in the eyes and said, "Oh, it's not a problem, we were just discussing how we were going to answer." There was a moment of confusion on the man's face and the twins busted out laughing, saying they had been waiting for an opportunity to try that joke out.
Me and my twin as kids had a long list of pre-arranged numbers for this situation, twin telepathy. I don't know, how about if I tell you a number in your ear and ask him what it was? Never got past 3 numbers before someone called Bulboo.
Never got past 3 numbers before someone called Bulboo. Sounds to me like you two need to work on your routine.
Ooh, that's funny. We've been asked that as well, at an aero club too, lol, but we didn't give such a clever answer, as your dad's friends did. Laughing smiley.
You can try next time.
Good point. I'll file that away for future reference. Happy smiley.
Make sure to telepathically fax the memo to your twin.
That's some Fred and George poo, lol.
I love a good joke that plays off an awkward silence, haha.
I have a twin and our twin telepathy word is pink elephants. We also have a twin language, the language from the TV show Zoom mixed with Pig Latin. I was good friends with identical twins in college. My favorite story with them was one night at the bar, one of them was hooking up with a girl, and walked away to either go to the bathroom or get a drink or something. At that very moment, his brother showed up and walked into the bar, and the girl just grabbed him and started kissing him. The look of shock / happiness on his face was hilarious.
He changed his clothes to try and ghost me. I better kiss him to seal the deal. Edit, 10 years in and I got my first ever award. Gonna go shine it.
Changed clothes. Wait. Don't identical twins walk around in identical outfits?
If they don't really count as identical.